Hi, everybody. I am Teresa Noge, your host today of the Max Afterburner podcast, and we are bringing this to you from No Fallen Heroes universe. I am incredibly excited about today's show because you get a chance to meet three very special women in our fellowship. Stay tuned. So here we are today with a very exciting and special broadcast. I am Teresa Noche, and sitting here with me are some of the most magical beings on the planet. We have our team. We're missing Wiz today, but not really. He's always in our heart. We're always one team, one family, one tribe. That's Sacred Warrior Fellowship, and everybody else that is a part of the mission to develop as better human beings, closer to God, walking in truth, and bringing people along with us on that journey. So I want to just jump right in and introduce our team. And I'm sitting with the amazing Mama Bear, Susie Buckley. Hi.
Hello. Yay.
Susie actually had me on the podcast as a guest. How long ago? It feels like it wasn't that
forever,
long
but
ago.
it really wasn't. I mean, like less than a year, but it feels like I've known you for like 100 years.
Or maybe
100 years, yeah.
I know.
Other lifetimes.
Yeah. It really is. It really is a whole, like, our whole connection is just so beautiful and feels like it's been lifetimes. It probably has been.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah.
Susie had me on as a guest shortly after I facilitated the women's ceremony, in which I was able to meet my other beautiful magical sisters here, and that is Kat.
Hi.
Say hi.
Hi, everybody.
And we have Zoya.
Hi.
And Zoya has been on the podcast before, so you can go catch her story on our No Fallen Heroes podcast and or YouTube channel. And please remember, wherever you're listening from or watching from, that every time you like our videos, you help us get our content out to more people. And so if you want to support our mission, that is one way that you can do it, is like and subscribe and share and all those wonderful things. So please take a minute to do that now. And we're going to jump right into today's topic. So I was inspired to start a series of ceremony chronicles because, as you can imagine, there are many stories that we could share and many different points that we can talk about to bring you into our world. And, first and foremost, we are a fellowship, a spiritual fellowship, first and foremost, a church, a place where the highest importance is communion with God and fellowship with the divine. And for us, the entheogenic sacraments are very, very, very powerful tool to help us break out of the egoic mind, the mind that suffers because it clings to expectation and the things of this life so strongly that we suffer from anxiety and fear. And so our sacraments enable us to, for a time, drop those barriers, drop those defenses, and really lean in with the eyes and ears of our hearts to see what God really means and has intended for each of our lives individually. Most of the time, people walk away from ceremony with a newfound sense of interconnectedness, realizing that all along I had this idea that I was a man on an island, a woman on an island, that I was alone out here in this struggle, and that I was just going to have to grin it and bear until the suffering ends. And we realize, oh my God, I'm not alone. I am a part of a family, this human family. And when you start to see that and feel that interconnected love through a fellowship like this, it's so encouraging for us to, for a lack of better words, fight the good fight and to really press into growing in the spirit. So I want to go around today and just kind of start a conversation and go across a few different points while I have you all here today. And I hope this is the first of many of these conversations. But first, I want to start with you, Kat, and I want to know what really motivated you to lock in and become so well, first off, you're so important to us. You are such an important component.
Thank you.
To the team.
Love to be with the team. Love to help others. Love to be part and connect.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we forget about ourselves and to connect with God. Yeah. And this is one of the ways that we can do that. Because, like we go back inside us in the faith and the power that we have. And this is one of the ways to do it. When we realize that we're only humans, it's okay to make mistakes, but it's okay also to love ourselves because He loves us. Yeah. So we have to remember that. So I like to be there for everybody because it's very important to not forget that we need to love each other and most important, love ourselves in order to give to the others and the ones that are around us.
You have to fill your own cup.
Yes.
Right? So that you can pour it out and be filled up again.
Absolutely.
Right? And
yes.
I know
very important.
Yeah. And I know that you have been on an ayahuasca journey. Only one?
One.
Okay.
Yes.
And so when I met you, the ceremonial procedures seemed a bit familiar to you.
Yes.
And so would you say that there were some things that were similar to your ayahuasca journey?
Some similarity, but not really, because it's a totally different momentum that you get and that you grasp with you. And I also think it's whatever is happening or whatever you were tuning with in your life in that moment, because we have those things that happen to us. We are in different moments.
Yes.
So it was similar, not the same.
Right.
I really enjoyed the fact that it was different. You know, because you want to always find a difference and see what is it and what's my purpose, what is my intention, what I'm looking for this. I want to be close to God. I want to be close to myself. I want to find the peace inside me. I want to forget everything that is not letting me be myself, so I can be a good person for everybody else. And most of it for myself.
For yourself. I love how you put it. I love how you said, I want to forget, if I could try to quote you properly, I want to forget everything that keeps me from seeing my real self. Like I'm,
correct.
Completely botching that, but that's the gist of what I heard you say. Like, I like that though. I want to forget everything that keeps me from seeing my real self.
My real self, yes.
So when you went to your ayahuasca journey, what you're saying is you were in a different place in life.
Yes.
You had a different intention. Yes. You were there to find something different. And so by the time you had come to your first ceremony with the Sacred Warrior Fellowship, which was our prototype ceremony, that was the one that set the tone for all of this.
Yes.
It was like...
It was the first one. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Susie.
Yeah.
And the instruments.
I was like, let's do this. Let me try it out on my friends.
It's like, let's put it in a figure. Just
let me find some crazy girls that I know that are willing to let me test out these theories with them.
Yes.
And it's just amazing how God works in such miraculous, mysterious ways. And God has a sense of humor, right?
The connection was incredible.
Yeah.
It was our first time together, and it was connected. It was divine connection.
Yeah.
I was like if I know you from so many years.
I know.
I know them for many years, and I felt that I know you for many years. I was like, it was so nice. I love it. Thank you.
Me too.
I love you so much.
I love you too. And so what Kat is talking about, if you haven't seen any of our other episodes, is that these ladies knew each other. As Susie just said, she grabbed some of her friends. And so just to give you the short, because we talked about this in other podcasts, I was friends with the retreat owner. I did some work there in previous times, and he knew about my private ceremonial work that I was already doing, and there happened to be a need because the facilitator for that original girls retreat ended up not being able to come, and so voila, here I am.
Yeah, he was the owner of the retreat was like, I have this girl, and I'm like, can I have her number?
We need her now.
Talk about divine interception.
I mean,
Yeah, right?
It was. I
nope.
mean, like Matt always says,
No
God
pun
winks.
intended.
There's no
Here.
coincidences. That's exactly how this is all supposed to work out.
Oh, yeah.
So
I feel so grateful because I was doing ceremonial work, but obviously with legalistic, limitations because we're still dealing with, the restrictions that we have. I have a background in church ministry. That is that is where I've been for many years. And then I went through a revolution of my belief system, an expansion of my belief system. I didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater, but I was able to deconstruct the fear-based beliefs and then start to put together something that fits this newfound perspective that I have on life. But in the process of that, I thought, what's it going to take? I was thinking to myself as I was praying, what's it going to take for me to be able to do this, God? I feel that you've called me to this work, but it's literally not legal. How am I going to continue this work that I feel that you've called me to do? And then, voila, here comes the Sacred Warrior Fellowship. And the church, and it was just like, the puzzle pieces fit together. So I'm as grateful for it, for you guys as you are for me.
yes,
And it did feel like just a magical fit, that first ceremony.
Yeah.
And so before I move on and ask you that question, what if anything at all, did you have any fears about that first experience with us?
Always, and no matter if I do ayahuasca, it's always a little fear to see to find out where you're gonna see.
Yeah, within yourself.
With yourself, exactly, because it's just like, oh my God, I'm opening this Pandora door, or the box, however you call it, and say, let's see what I can find out inside me, and what is that it's not letting me be, or Yeah. So it's always that little fear, but then when you are in the group, in the energy, and we are all supporting each other together, it felt like I was safe. No problem. I was it was in the, how we say it?
Container.
In the container, yes. We were safe all together. And, your voice too, angelical voice that you have when you sing. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. Yeah. It gets you to be closer and see the things that you want to see. So it was a tremendous experience. Yes. Every time it is. I always do.
Every time
it's different, it's new, and not to be honest, it put me very close to God, because I pray now. I cannot go without praying at night. Like, I need to talk to Him all the time. Yeah. So that's a good thing, because then I extended my relationship with Him. Yeah. Because before I was like, no. Now I'm like more intense with talking to Him. I need to see my candles all the time.
And you have an altar.
I know. I feel like it's safe when I find my altar. Yes. I have my father there, my brother that passed away. So I always feel that, so like when I have them and with my little candles that you guys give me, complete me. For real.
Yeah, and you didn't know, neither of you, didn't really know how this was also going to unfold.
Oh, yeah.
To become a committed path. You are our team. You are co-facilitators. You are stewards.
Yes.
And we are all in this together. I mean, this is our team. They're not just volunteer assistants. These women make the dream happen. and they are, anchoring in prayers for us and for our church. And this is it. This is the team right now. And so it went from you and you coming as Susie's crazy friends that were willing to go, to becoming now your life's work, ladies.
Yes.
This is a part of your life's work, and I feel that you didn't see that coming, did you?
No, I was like, oh my God, this is part of my life now. I love it. I like for everybody to feel safe as I felt.
Yeah.
And that's what I do there. Like, I want to make sure you're in a safe place. We pray for God. We're with God. We're all together.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out what is that we need to complete ourselves, to be better with each other, with yourself. So it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And then Zoya was also a part of the first team. And so when you got a call from Susie, tell me a little bit about what went through your mind before that ceremony.
That first ceremony?
Yeah.
Man, I was scared.
Yeah.
I was a little, not that I don't have love, but I was nervous. It's always been something that I've been pulled to since I can remember. Just never, it wasn't there for me. And I was like, not that they didn't know me and all the stuff I'd gone through in my life, the good and the bad.
Yeah.
But now you're like really like, oh.
Vulnerable.
And
Vulnerable, open.
vulnerable, yeah.
When you say they, not that they didn't know you, you meant these
I
ladies?
meant my Susie
Okay.
and anyone else, but that didn't matter to me. It was more, I was more afraid of you girls, not in a bad way, but just like, wow,
What they're gonna
I'm
think
afraid
about
of
me?
what I'm going to find,
Wow.
let alone, you know, being that vulnerable with, you know, all this stuff in front of people. But it was nothing like that. And especially when you came in with Lisa, that changed everything for me. Because at that point I had to give it in God's hands. Like my mom always used to say something, and basically you're giving everything in his hands. You know,
Surrender?
surrender. Yeah. And I did, and just trust that process. But also there was that part of me, like, am I supposed to be doing this? That taboo,
Right.
like, of the way I, you know, like, our also mom was like, you don't do that. But it's been a part of my life, and the curiosity of it and exploring it from a very young age. And
What is it?
Exploring this realm, exploring being connected, exploring gifts, exploring the gut that I have and the things that I see or feel, and wanting to know more about it, energies, crystals, all of it. This interconnectedness that you had said earlier, which now as I've evolved is God, because God, instead of using it as this singular term, you know, he's God is within all of us, you know. And it wasn't until Matt's podcast where he was talking about his upbringing in the Catholic Church and God and how you're almost taught to fear instead of that. And that really clicked with me, where I was like, okay. And everyone put such emphasis on God. And you kind of were like, am I good enough? Can I say God? What is God? Who is God? And all these religions, like omniism, right? Or an omnius, you take the beliefs of all of the religions, you know. And that's what I love with Sacred Warrior Fellowship, because there's everyone that comes in. Everyone has a different religious background.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a belief. And we create, I just got goosebumps, and we create this space where everyone can find their connection from within.
Yeah.
And there is no judgment, because we're all there. We're all searching
for something new.
for that.
Yeah.
And that opened up a floodgate for me.
Yeah.
And I would have never imagined, I said this a million times and I'll keep saying it, I'm beyond grateful.
Yeah, me too.
And who would have thought, us three, right? And in our
four.
friendship, in our years prior, that this, you know, we would be here.
Right.
And I love it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get those stories at lunch today. I'm just saying there'll be off-camera stories that I'm sure I get to get filled in on. But, you know, as the ladies said earlier in the podcast, is that they had a friendship. And if any of you have been listening to the No Fault or the Max Afterburner podcast for some time, then you've heard Wiz's story, you've heard Susie's story, or both of them. But Kat and Zoya, you know, knew them through the stuff that they were going through as a couple, right? As a family, and got to witness the before, during, and after transformations. And so, of course, that was already planting the seed in their lives of wow, this is really amazing, and this is something that I might want to get involved in. But as you were talking, what I realized is how cool it is that you started as okay, I'll try it with Susie. I'll go. I'll play. And then after that first ceremony, both realized that this is something you can see yourselves participating and really committing to. Yeah. But once you both expressed desire to commit to the fellowship and commit to developing yourselves as facilitators, the level of responsibility for your spiritual walk becomes stronger, wouldn't you say?
It has for me.
Oh yeah, no,
me too. And what Matt always says, God does not make imperfect things. So we've all had that, and I feel some days I'm like, why? Like I'm not good enough, or to be, but it has been everything but that, and I want more of it. Yes. If I could do this more, I would. And
the way you think you start thinking differently too. You change your attitude. You're more like calm. You're more like, okay, I'm not gonna get.
But you still. Off of that. Well, even Mike said that. Alchemist Mike, he's like, even when you're in the car and you're like, we're just as like anyone else, but you do start, your brain is reset. Yep. And you still deal with things. It's not like a one time and your life's perfect and you're kumbaya. It's a process. It's a lifelong process, you know, but you do heal and you do connect to God and a higher power, and you do have that spirituality, and you do, it is absolutely true. Yeah. And to be able to pay that forward and to be able to do that for someone else, you heal through that as well.
Yeah. And I feel like we all do a good job, but you guys do a phenomenal job of, like you were saying, no judgment. And we had a husband come back and sit with his wife. He sat outside ceremony and was there, and he made the comment the night before, which was really like, it made me like just so happy, and just the feeling, I was so grateful for him to be there. But he was like, his journey was challenging. He had a very challenging journey. He had a lot of stuff come up, and he had a lot of work to do. But he made the comment where he was like telling everybody that was like sitting there worried, scared night before, like what's going to happen. And he's like, you will be safe. He's like, there is no judgment here. So for him to say that, and that he could feel that we truly don't judge anybody. We're here as a support. We're here because we care. We're here because we're proud of you for showing up. And wanting that connection and wanting to make yourself better. And I mean, between the two of them now doing their journey, like they're like our family, our life, like is everything so much better. But for just to restate how we've all said that there's no judgment, like there truly is no judgment. And people will even say there's no, like whatever you're going through, we're here for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I know the group that you're talking about, and it's been really touching to see how contagious one person's spiritual growth has become for their whole friend group. Mm-hmm. So that whole group, it was like we had one guy come, and then because of how changed he was when he got home, his wife came to the next ceremony.
Well, and he brought a friend too.
And that's right.
Right. Yeah. So the two came together, then brought his wife.
Yes.
Then brought the other wife and a friend. And I just spoke with another friend.
Yeah.
That lives in Texas that wants to come.
Yes.
Possibly after March, April sometime.
Yeah. So this whole this whole group of people are having such a profound transformation of their whole lives that their community is actually going, what is going on? And here's something really cool too, is because they do come from a really kind of fundamental Christian area where they have been very connected in their church and very connected in like the women's groups, and some of them snuck to ceremony, like not telling their friends because their friends were worried about them.
Yeah.
Because they're like, what are you getting into? You know, the taboo, as you mentioned before.
Right.
Yeah.
What are you getting into? You know, that's not of the right spirit.
Yeah.
But she knew in her heart that she was being led by God, and that she had already seen the transformation in her friends' lives who also were, you know, Christians. And she says, you know what, I'm going off the beaten path, and I'm following my heart. And now returning home and telling those naysayer friends that this has been my experience, and it is all love, it is all God, and for them it is all Christ.
Yes.
You know. And the integration that they've been doing, and the consistency, and the integrity that they've had in their integration process makes a big difference too.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, that's something that is really important for people that are coming, is to give yourself enough time to really lock in to your intention. And what I mean by that is, the more serious you take ceremony leading up to ceremony, the more profound your transformation will be. And more serious meaning everything from what you put into your body to the amount of sleep you're getting. And when I say put in your body, I mean in your mouth and in your eyes and in your ears. You know, a lot of times we don't think anything of this stuff that we're listening to and watching. But we all know that, you know, what you see and what you hear holds a certain resonance. And some people have more thick skin for things like gore and fright movies and stuff like that. But I personally don't. And it's so everybody knows their threshold. They know. Yeah. I personally, as a spiritual guide and facilitator, do not watch those things. I do not allow things in my eyes and ears that are not edifying. They're not building up my spirit, you know? And so the more serious a person takes their journey before they come, you know, I've heard it said many times before ceremony starts, the minute you say yes, right?
Things start shifting.
That's right.
Yep.
And even when we pick a date, it's like that ceremony has begun.
Yep.
And the real ceremony actually begins the minute you leave the retreat. It's like, what are you going to do with this now?
Right.
You know, so Susie, what I think a lot of times the emphasis really gets put on, because Wiz had such a wild transformation, and because, you know, the struggles that he had as being, you know, what he shares with his story with the PTSD and childhood stuff and military stuff and all that. But as an individual, not as Wiz's wife, but Susie.
Yeah.
You know, how has this journey of you're the spiritual director for No Fallen Heroes. If you guys haven't seen the website, you go check that out, and you can read about all of our you know, you can read about Susie and Matt. You can get some of my background on our website as well, and then on the No Fallen Heroes website, there is the whole board is on there, and you can really just see, you know, you can go check all that out. But my point is that you know, Susie, your gift to Sacred Warrior Fellowship stands alone in the fact that you are not a supportive component. You bring so much to the table in and of yourself. And so I know that this kind of went from being Matt's journey to quickly becoming, oh my God, like, wow, this is an individual journey for you too. So in what ways has this really transformed your own personal spiritual world over the last, however many, has it been 5 years now since you guys have really like locked into this mission? Yeah. So how has it really transformed you spiritually?
Well, so when I went to do my first, you know, most people probably know how I got to where I started, was Matt did his journey, and then he comes home and he's like, I'm great. And I'm like, yay for you. And so,
Right.
so I was like, all right, I need to get up and better myself as well. And so I went and did that psilocybin journey in Mexico, and just a lot of realization, that you are loved, that you are good enough. Because I don't know if it's like a mom thing or if it's just the way that I wire myself, where I used to think I'm not good enough, or I did something wrong. Is somebody mad at me? And now I'm like, well, whatever. If you're mad at me, you're mad at me. I don't really care. I mean, I care, but like I didn't, whatever. But it really taught me that I am good enough, and what I can bring to the table is enough, and it is good. And then just over time, it's funny because when we first did it on my first journey, I never understood when people would be like, oh, you could do it again and have more layers and more layers. And I'm like, how many layers do I have? Like, I'm not gonna
I'm
wake
already
up.
a saint.
No, meaning
No,
like,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Meaning like, I'm not gonna wake up one day and go, oh, this happened to me as a child, and I
Right,
didn't know this.
right.
Like, I'm like, what
Right.
else do I need to get to? But it really is unfolding. Like each time, like every time, and we take a small bit of the sacrament to tune in with the people that are doing the journey, and I clearly don't need much sacrament because these beautiful, amazing women are up helping people, and I'm like with my blanket, hiding for about an hour and a half. But
Holding space.
yes,
Holding space.
but yes, but every time I do see another layer. I do something else kind of profound, or something kind of to Kat's point. It's where you're at in your life at that moment. You know what I mean? Some people will come back and be like, if I would have found this 10 years ago, maybe X, Y, and Z would have happened, but I also wasn't in the place to accept it at the time. So I think for me, it's just been an amazing growth. I'm not good with, I love listening to you talk, and Zoya, like you guys are so good with like your words and like how you say things, and I'm just like, I don't know, but I'm getting like, I can feel it now. You know what I mean? Like you get to a place where you're like, it becomes more natural, and it becomes like more of, even though it's always been in there, it's just easier to let it out.
Yeah.
My journey to here has just been, so grateful being able to help the people and watching everybody's stories and seeing how well they're doing after, and everything unfolding, and then getting to do it with you three beautiful ladies. It's just been amazing. Yeah. So.
And I can imagine that when you said, so whose idea was it to do the first ceremony here? Because you'd already been sending our members to other retreat places.
Right.
But when you finally were both like, okay, we've got to do something here, we've got to kind of shift this. So whose idea was it to put that first retreat together?
So it was kind of both of our ideas, but it was mine in the sense where I was like, I'm just going to do this. We had the place. We knew of the place that we could use, which is spectacular. So I was like, we just got to do it. Let's just try it. And I didn't know how to do it, really. I was like, how do you even do all this and make all this work? So I just took bits and pieces of the retreats that we'd been to, and places like Matt. He used to go to every retreat center that we would send people to, because he's like, I can't send people somewhere if I haven't been there.
Yeah.
So he would go either before, or he would go on it with them. When our group would go, he would go, or we both would go. So it was kind of both of our idea. But then when I was like, all right, I'm going to just do this, and I'm going to do it with my friends, because I don't know how to start, and I know they're all interested. Like everybody definitely had like an interest in what we were doing. So I brought them, and then once that went so great, I was like, we could try to do this more often. And honestly, it's better for us, because then we can ensure that our message is what's being spread. Not that the other retreat centers that we've sent people to aren't amazing, and not that we wouldn't be open to sending the No Fallen Heroes people there if it was more convenient for the veteran. Or better fit for the veteran. Like we have a veteran that's going to go to something in Oregon soon, because the guy lives in Oregon, so I'm not going to ask him. And he's going through No Fallen Heroes, not Sacred Warrior. So it's better to be able to have our own message and be able to control what we want to, what we're trying to spread.
Yeah, I like that. I feel that we are really molding and shaping something that is true to the heart of Sacred Warrior Fellowship. The spiritual authenticity, the the oneness with God, the spiritual path of walking this out and walking it out supported, but also, for anybody that's listening or watching, psychedelic ceremony is and has been done in many different ways. Many ancient practices in civilizations all over the world. Right now, it is most popular to go to places like South America and Mexico, but really psilocybin is a sacrament that has been found all over the globe for the history of all mankind. And so I am not a South American shaman. I have not been trained as a South American shaman. My spiritual background is in biblical studies and philosophical studies and some Buddhist studies. And my experience also in church is over a decade in wearing many different hats in the church, in the Christian ministry. So for me, cultivating ceremony has been about honoring the teachers that were sent into my life to share things like hape, right? Hape is a proprietary sacrament that comes straight out of Colombia, Peru, Brazil. I have a source to get it from different tribes out in that area. But because that is a proprietary recipe, it is really important to me to try to share and preserve the customs around how that is served. But with that being said, our whole ceremony flow isn't about trying to duplicate or mimic what someone else is doing.
Yeah.
We, like you said, we use music that we have been moved by in other ceremonies and that we have seen really makes a difference in people's journeys. And some of that is, Spanish music. Some call that the Icaros. And at the same time, we have other, sounds that we've incorporated. So it's a little bit eclectic. And like you said, we want to protect that and protect it in the way that we have confidence in what it is that we're offering to others, and that it, like you said, really drives the message from the time they meet you or me or one of our ladies on the phone pre-ceremony, because also Kat and Zoya and Susie and myself, we do the prep with our members, and then we do their post-ceremony integration. Also, our fellowship is currently developing other means of connecting virtually. Also in the future, we will be having like an annual reunion. We haven't put all those details together yet, but these are all a part of the vision, because the fellowship connection part is really important.
Yeah.
But ceremony from start to finish is a piece of each of us. I know that I brought the bulk of it, like the process that we have, but each of us really brings a special piece, and Matt to the table. And I know that you have extended the offer to people to get involved and to volunteer. And so what that would look like for somebody that has been to ceremony and wants to learn more about volunteering in a ceremony space is that we may be able to incorporate some volunteers in things like tending to the fire or helping us with our smoke clearings, our cobal, and cleaning buckets and things like that.
Yeah.
Right? We all start somewhere serving. That is really the most important piece. And so anybody that wants to volunteer, there's always somewhere that they can serve.
Definitely.
But for the facilitators on the team, it's very important for us to keep our eyes on what matters, and that is spirit, and that is God. And so we want to do our very best to be that example for people and to embody that in ourselves and in our lives. And also the humility of, we are sometimes, each of us in our own lives, a little bit sloppy, and that's okay. And ceremony teaches us that sloppiness is a part of the process, right? And so with that being said, let's talk about some of the most memorable times.
Nobody looks pretty.
Right. So we're not wearing makeup because that's going to end up everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely not about looking cute. Although I thought it was funny listening to Tommy talk about her picking her white dress.
Yeah.
I was like,
that was
wow.
funny, yes.
That was a good selection.
Yeah.
But Susie, what would you say is one of the most memorable, funny, profound? What stands out to you?
There's a couple. Maybe the one, well, I'll bring up the one we were talking about this earlier. We had this one ceremony. We had a couple, what was it? 4 military guys. All had been through a lot of stuff. So the room was real heavy. The ceremony was, it was heavy.
Oh, not that one.
And like how you were talking about music, you could tell. And side note, the last ceremony when I only, again, took hardly anything, I wasn't feeling great. And I was walking out of the house and I could hear Teresa with the drum. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going out there right now. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing the drum right now. But so Teresa was doing a really good job of trying to move the energy. You guys had the kapal. We were really working on everything. And my poor amazing husband ended up moving the energy for the whole room for like 3 hours.
He was purging, folks. He was purging.
He was purging.
Non-stop.
But so were a couple of the other people in the room. And it was just like, we had somebody over here purging. I had to give him a hair tie for his beard. We had somebody over here purging. We had somebody, we had like 4 people purging. Wiz was purging. Everybody was purging. And then when it was like almost over and everybody was like coming through it, we're all through it. Teresa's doing the drum, trying to get everybody to just like move the energy. Yeah. And Matt was like, at one point I opened my eyes and you 4 looked like Civil War nurses. And we were like in a battle. And I'm like, we were in a battle.
We were in a battle. Yes.
We were in a battle.
We were cleaning everybody's feet.
And we were laughing that time too because, Kat's amazing. Well, both of them are amazing, but Kat was amazing. She's always like, Teresa looks at either one of them and they're like, what do you need? What do we need? And so we were joking with Kat because it's like, fire?
Yeah.
I have fire. I have fire in my pocket.
Fire in my pocket.
And then it started raining. You need rain? Here's rain.
Right here. And the fire still go.
Yes.
Going,
and
right?
the fire went the whole time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, that was a funny one.
I think it's also our energy that we put all the intention and all the good spirits for everybody else.
Yeah.
We keep it all together. We just figure it out always, no matter what. When you play the instrument too, everybody loves that,
Yeah.
The water.
Well, yeah, the water. So everybody thinks like, oh, where I am, Yes, it's pretty cool. I like it.
I think that was the first ceremony, though, as a team that we were challenged.
Yeah, oh, super.
Yeah.
And I'm super proud of us. But it was, and as as a lead facilitator that day, there was this moment of looking around and observing all that was going on because as Susie said, there was a lot of energy being moved, and you feel it. We feel it, and then a lot of times you'll go where from feeling it to then you'll see people start purging. You feel the energy first, right? And then you realize, okay, it's a wave. It's so incredible. It's one of the ways that Spirit moves through us as a container to bring up and out the things that have been in our energetic body that are keeping us sick. And so for those of you that are new to what, this purging stuff, don't let it frighten you. At the end of the day, this is stuff you want out of your body. This is stuff you want out of your life. And so if it needs to come up and out, it will. And as Susie said, this group had an incredible amount of trauma and pain, multiple combat veterans there. It was really intense. And for them as new facilitators, and you a little bit new, but you had quite a few ceremonies experience under your belt, but for Zoya and Kat, they were kind of par on their experience, and so I was really proud of you girls and how you handled it. But I looked around at everybody at one point, and I realized we need a meeting in the cockpit.
Looking into her eyes, I'm like,
I remember.
Yeah, and we did a little roundup, and it's funny because when you're got your eye mask on and you're in your pod, you don't really see what's going on between us, because we might have somebody over here that's struggling, but we want to contain that as much as possible, so that if you're over there seeing butterflies and rainbows, we want to make it as possible for you
To stay where you are.
to stay in that place, right? So that is also a part of our work as facilitators, is to help move the energy so that it does not become chaotic and work like a domino effect, and then everybody is, oh, what are we doing? Where are we at? And so there was a moment where everyone was moving all this energy at one time, and we have this quick meeting in the cockpit, and we're like, all right, ladies, ground, breathe, right?
Yeah, that was crazy.
You could, I can honestly say, like, I could feel things, but that, I remember that one. It was so thick. And at one point, for me, I literally felt everyone's pain, and I was just sitting in the middle of the room, and tears were just rolling down my face, and not for any particular reason. I couldn't control it. If I looked at Matt, if I looked at anyone else, it was just like, it was all in here and just coming out of my face. And I had that pink quartz heart that Susie gave us in my pocket. And I took it out just to hold it while I was processing everything, and it was on fire. It was so hot. But I remember you pulled us all, and you could cut it with a knife. The heaviness of all of that to get us all to get it out. And that was, I feel it a lot in each, but that particular one was really,
it was really heavy.
Really heavy.
Yeah.
I had one of my teachers said to me, the medicine for us, the sacrament, the psilocybin, teaches the facilitator. The medicine teaches, because I was eager to learn about facilitating and being helpful, being supportive. I just wanted to help in ceremony. But as Susie was telling you earlier, we also, dose. I mean, in most shamanic ceremonies, the shaman is going to be on a full dose with you. Yeah. But again, none of us claim to be shamans in the sense that, we were not raised in the Amazon drinking ayahuasca from 1 year old, from 2 years old. So we do take the sacrament with you on a lighter dose. And so as our team becomes stronger and gains more experience, that dose is going to go up a little bit, just so you know.
We'll all be in the corner then.
You're doing just fine. You have been doing great. But it really takes us into the dimension that our members are on, and it enables us to see, feel, and experience the energy of the room firsthand. Yeah. And so it's very important for us to allow the sacrament to teach us, and that's exactly what you're describing. You were feeling one of the lessons that come up in times like that when you're feeling everything is also to remember that you are not essentially the healer. I'm not the healer. You're not the healer. We are channels. We are mediums for God to work through, and for the teacher, for the psilocybin to work through, and to have the confidence in spirit to carry that ship home is really where it comes in. And so when we start to feel that empathy in such a strong way that we begin to, it becomes overwhelming, that's my job essentially, is to bring us back in, to get us to that place where we can, go back in for another round. But our guys made it through. We landed the ship.
Like always.
We landed the ship. They're doing
Chuma
great.
Airlines.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you? What's one of the most memorable experiences? Something that you'll never forget?
There's so many. But the first one that comes to mind was one of the veterans, very spiritual, had brought their Bible, and was going through his process, and at one point, all of a sudden, pops up on his knees and grabs his Bible, and flips to a page, and I'm sitting right there, and I'm just taking it all in, and he grabs the Bible, and he's just taking his finger, and he's just fast, looking and just kind of in disbelief, flips the next page, going down. Now, he's present, you're present, but you're really not. You're on a whole nother
place.
You're in another plane, dimension. So you're consciously unconscious. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but, and he just kept flipping the pages and just kept going down with his finger, and just had this look on his face like, what? And then later, after ceremony, and everyone was sharing some moments and we're asking questions, I'm like, what was it? What, you grabbed
reading
your Bible at one point? He goes, yes, I remember that. And he goes, every sentence said, you are enough. You are enough.
Wow.
I have chills. I have chills. And he's like, I couldn't believe it. And he flipped to the next. He goes, and then again, you are enough. You are enough. And that was like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. That if only everyone read their Bible that way.
Right.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. It would be an easy book to read, wouldn't
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
You are
Enough.
enough. Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So many Kodak moments. I
Yeah.
could just put them all in a nice, beautiful photo album and keep adding
That's
to it.
right. I would
It's kind of like my playlist. I always grab something and then I find something else, and the music for me is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It
To
is.
bring back memories or the moments.
Just
That you're
puts
in.
me in a whole nother place.
Everybody, yep.
Yeah.
What about you?
Oh my God! I actually is one about you. You were taking notes, and it was this beautiful. I say, how she's taking notes, because I say, like, in one moment we cannot see, we
Right.
cannot read,
Right.
because your eyes get like,
Yeah.
And she was taking notes, but also the other member, military guy, was trying to read his book, and I was like, when you're gonna put this book down?
yeah.
Because that's what I say.
remember.
People's a little afraid of going through the journey.
Ego.
Yes.
The
Because
ego.
they don't know what to expect, right?
Yes.
And I can see fear on him.
Yes.
And I was trying to look at him and say, like, it's okay. Drop the book. It's time to close your eyes. Put your mask on. It's gonna be okay. I want you to close your eyes, because I said, you're missing out.
Yeah.
And then my beautiful friend here was writing. I was like, what she's writing? Why everybody's reading? What's going on?
How can they see
How
right
can
now?
she see? Like, and also the connection with the nature that we have.
Yeah.
Like, I can hear the birds and the little bunnies that go around. They're so pretty. It's like so special. I think it's all connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you always teach me something, because you'll say, did you hear that? And it could have been a flock of birds, but I have a newfound way of the way I listen to things now, especially when I go out to the fire, if I am by myself or processing something after, and you hear your ears, like you hear so much more. And I love that. And then there are moments, like even Kat said, when you're just you are in the realm.
Yeah.
Your voice,
Oh my
your
goodness.
body moving, the way you're dancing, the way you're like, the words are just coming out when you picked up the drum, and it was just coming out. I don't believe that was something that was rehearsed or practiced,
No.
because
Definitely
you
not.
said everything that everyone needed to hear.
It was so
you.
beautiful.
But you're moving, that always inspires me. It really does.
That was very cool. Yeah. I know. I love it. I was like, wow. I love it. I want to hear more of that song. She just was rehearsing that. And that moment right there.
Right
It
there.
was special. I was like, wow.
They're talking about the impromptu
Yes.
songs that I sing in ceremony, and when I was in Christian church ministry, I was very much a part of music and the worship team, and that's where I learned instruments, and that's where I learned to lead a band and all those things. But I have never been more at home musically than in ceremony, where it's flowing from the heart on the spot. Like, we've had some of our members say, Teresa, can you send that song?
No.
No.
I just created it, so sorry.
Yeah, it was for the moment. It was right then and
Yeah.
there. I think eventually I would like to see us put together something that's like musically centered. Where we can have a recording and just see what gets brought up and what we can create. I would.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah, I would
like
love
that.
to see Sacred Warrior Fellowship explore some of our own music creation, and we totally can do that. So stay tuned. We have a lot of stuff in our pipeline. We have a lot of creative souls here, but let me just drop this in there real quick. It takes money to grow, and so I'm also going to put it out there that you can go over to, do they make the donation at nofallenheroes.org? Or sacredwarriorfellowship.com, nofallenheroes.org or sacredwarriorfellowship.com. And nobody in the spiritual vein of service ever wants to ask for money. But I just want to pose it this way. We all know that there is an expense to anything we want in life. And we are providing something that we truly are proud of and that we truly see is impacting the world in a beautiful way. And it takes capital. It takes capital to get the right teachers, to get the right professionals on board, to get the right retreat centers for us to work through, to pay for liability insurance, to get continued education for our team. We want to continue being able to strengthen our team members so that what we have to offer is of the highest quality. And so if you have been through one of our ceremonies, then you know exactly what we're talking about. You are living in you are a living testimony to what we've done. Spread the word. And if somebody's not ready to become a member, you definitely can just make a contribution or get a membership that also gives you access to other aspects of our fellowship. So you can check all that out at our website. But I'm definitely not afraid to ask for that support because I know what we have to offer.
Yeah.
I know what we have to offer. I'm proud of it. And, yes, we are a nonprofit, but a lot of people misunderstand that the amount of capital it takes to run a good nonprofit, and we won't be able to keep doing what we're doing if we don't have support. We do not have a money-making aspect necessarily to what we do, so we are solely doing this on your contribution, and we want to be able to soften the financial burden for veterans, first responders, and their families to get this help. But it is to send somebody out of the country. You're talking anywhere from $7,000 to $15,000 to go to ibogaine or to ayahuasca or to psilocybin. So we're offering our retreats to civilians right now 2.5 days at only $3,500. Right? I mean, it is an incredible opportunity. Short travel if you're anywhere in this country for the most part. You have your accommodations, your food, it's all inclusive. 2.5 days as a civilian. And then our veterans are $2,400. This is for our retreats, which right now we're aspiring to do them at least once a month. But we need your help to spread the word, to fill up our ceremonies, because the best way to do that is word of mouth. And then, of course, we had started off offering grants and scholarships, but again, without a consistent donation base, then our hands are really tied on how much we can help financially. So what we are doing right now to continue putting forth the best effort we can is we are working with our veterans, first responders, and their families to whatever capacity they can afford. We then are also offering, because we don't have grant and scholarship money at the time flooding in. So we need your help. But we are offering payment plans. So we are working with you, and we want to make sure that what we have to offer is accessible to everyone who needs it. So please spread the word. Please, if your heart is moved, if you know someone that's been touched by what we're doing, then please go ahead, hop over to our website and share some love. I just have maybe another minute or two before we close out today. So if there's any announcements, do you have anything specific you want to add?
No, not really. Just on the scholarship or the payment things, you know, the civilians also, you're really helping the veterans. You know, you're giving back by coming, because we don't want to price anybody out of healing ever.
Yeah, of course.
That's not our goal, but we want to be able to help. And, you know, No Fallen Heroes, we want to help the veterans, first responders, and their family members. And so any civilian that comes through Sacred Warrior, you really are helping the veterans and the families, and their, you know. So we're grateful for everybody, and thank you for your support.
Can I piggyback off of something that you had said that we've been talking about? One of the previous veterans in the retreat, when I had asked them how they, you know, came across No Fallen Heroes, one of the things that they brought to my attention was that in the area and locally, or what they were able to do, you were one of the only few that work with first responders, you know, and I thought, wow, I didn't know that.
We were the first ones to include first responders.
Right,
but
and they were like, this is what it was, because it's so much for veterans as well, but they particularly are first responder, and they were so grateful.
Yeah.
They're all heroes.
So grateful.
Yeah.
So I wanted to thank you for that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
A lot of the first responders, they deserve all the recognition that they should have, but they also, a lot of them have taken off military uniforms and then put on a first responder uniform. So, you know, and the trauma they see, you know, we have a friend who's 25 years Marine Corps, and then he went to Miami-Dade fire, and he said most of his trauma was through Miami-Dade fire. He's like, what you see neighbors doing to each other, people who are in the same community, like people, this is not your quote unquote enemy or another country or somebody that your country's fighting. These are people that are your same
Civilians.
people. He's like, it's pretty traumatic. So we need to support our first responders.
One of the last first responders, they had this, I mean, the prayers that were rolling out of them. I mean, and what they had witnessed as a first responder, I was like, wow.
Yeah, he's
and then
doing
just
so good.
that was magical. All the prayer that
His prayers they were beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, man, what a beautiful soul.
He touched me with
Everyone
one of his
is.
prayers. Yes.
Yeah.
You make me
There
cry.
were, those
For
are
an
another
hour.
one of those Kodak moments.
Yeah.
Yes.
Matter of fact, never mind. I guess I'll do that next time. You can go to our Instagram page at Sacred Warrior Fellowship and see the testimonies that have come in. I mean, gosh, we've had now probably 50 people since the summer,
Probably.
at least.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big impact, I think, for what we have been working with. That's a nice number of people, because, you know, it has changed their families and the trajectory of their relationship with their kids and their spouses. And it's such a triple effect. But yeah, go check us out on Instagram. Also, you know what? I've never given anybody my Instagram tag, but you can find me there too if you want. It's at Teresa Noach, TH, with 2 A's in the middle, Noach, Noach. But I also pretty much share basically everything that the Sacred Warrior shares. Every once in a while, I might have something different on there. I might have another thought. Does anybody else want to offer up anything else?
No, so thankful and grateful for having us.
Yes,
And let us
thank
be
you.
part of this journey that everybody
Yes.
needs.
Can't wait till 50 turns into 100, and then that
1,000.
turns into thousands. It's a ripple
Yes.
effect. Just pay it forward.
Yeah,
Pay it
it
forward.
does. It does.
Pay it forward.
It is. It's a ripple effect, and I'm excited about what we have coming in the future. So with that being said, I just want to again thank all of you for listening and for coming up, for meeting our team today. Maybe next time we'll make a spot for Wiz.
Yeah, we'll bring Wiz in.
Yeah. But he's out there staying busy. We have fighting the good fight too, and which is why you guys are hearing me a lot more. And I know I'm very different than Wiz. Wiz, you're always gonna get Wiz's content when he gets in here, maybe like once a month these days. But so also give us some feedback, leave us some comments, let us know what material specifically that I've been offering that you would like more on, maybe a deeper dive into some things, but give us some feedback on the content that you would like to hear, whether from me or from Wiz. But getting in here and getting our members in here for interviews is really kind of my role in this right now, but we definitely want to hear from you and have some feedback. And if you have questions, we want to answer those questions if we can. If not, we'll get those answers for you, but we want to be here to support you. And ultimately, at the end of the day, to remind you that you have purpose, you are truly loved, that we love you, we are here for you, and God doesn't make mistakes. And so there's no mistake that you are listening to this video or podcast right now. And if you feel that your heart is being tugged on, then reach out, hit us up on social media, our website, or call us. But we are here to support the unraveling and the new beginning that your life is calling for right now. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.